Good to go.
All right, so we have the coterie slightly split. Raul is nowhere to be found currently. Hestia is extricating herself from immediate scrutiny of the police officer as she slides away from Todd, who's being taken to the ground in the most vicious of manners. Um, Simone is leading Julius, Cameron, and Lucio towards the secret tunnels, as it were, the tunnels that were used to bootleg and bring in alcohol during Prohibition, which were still there if not used, and shouldn't have been used because it is not a common secret that this location would have had any. It's a question as to how Simone himself knew that they were there, but he does and leads you all directly towards the egress, which is through one of the supply closets, down a group of stairs into the beer cooler, and as he opens by carefully feeling around the secreted panel, the door swings inward into a darkened recess that leads further into the ground itself. As he does so, he does mention to you all, um, hmm, they shouldn't have been this clean. If everyone would be so kind as to go ahead and roll their dexterity and stealth to see how many successes you got in escaping notice of the police officers. You need merely one success to successfully evade their notice.
Dex and what?
Dexterity and stealth.
It's a good thing I don't have stealth.
You can always blood search.
Yes, you can.
Does a blood search.
Can I burn a willpower?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, good.
All right. Hestia, Simone, would you be so kind? There we go.
How? How? Wait, do I get any bonus because I had the, what was it, Silence of Death up?
Yes.
So I'm not making noise?
Yes, you are not making any noise whatsoever. Unfortunately, with
Yeah,
total
so I'm
failure,
not making
it's not
noise.
a complete botch. So you catch their attention. They will remember that you were there, but they will not pursue. It's one of those they'll catch it in hindsight. Hey, what happened to the good-looking dude, the guy that was over? Eh. But Simone, just to make sure. Aha, there we go. Oh, is that one success? Yes, it is. All right. All right. So you all extricate yourself from the situation and are heading downstairs and through the secreted tunnels that have not been used since the ending of Prohibition, or at least maybe not since the early 80s. And yet, this entire area, as you enter into the tunnel and close, do you guys close the door behind you?
Yeah, but before I do, I'm gonna put like a blood trail on the latch or like the mechanism that opens it.
Oh no, Hestia has already managed to catch up to you guys.
Oh,
She was one round behind you, but she got two successes. So she, yes,
excellent.
Simone mentions the fact that for an area that shouldn't have been used since the late 80s, early 80s, when Geraldo Rivera was doing his search for Capone's treasures and searching up Capone's safes and using all of his journalistic integrity to find the hidden Capone treasure. This area is clean. There's no trail of dust. There's no signs of disuse. There's no signs of disrepair. And it's merely a well-kept egress into a tunnel.
Is anyone in this coterie a Nosferatu?
No, not as far as you can tell. No one's horrendously hideous. No one's monstrous. In fact, a few of your members are actually quite dashing and handsome and beautiful and all too attractive, easily rememberable.
Well, that's
All right, I should go ahead. Let's see. Since the scene does not require a Ralph check, does it? No, it does not. It does require either wits and aspects or resolve and aspects, whichever is higher.
when I see her do that, am I able to perform that same action as well?
If you'd like, to peer into. Oh my goodness. Well, now that is a lot of successes.
If it is, don't worry about it.
All right, Hestia. As the door closes and you tap into the very preternatural ether that surrounds every living thing, you pierce the veil between this world and the one that lays just atop it. With 7 successes, not only are you able to tell that there is no one in the immediate vicinity, neither mortal nor dead nor undead, as the case may be, but also there is a resounding haze of a choleric aura that has permeated the area, as if someone happy cleans the environment. You can almost imagine someone whistling as they work and laboring away all the dirt and grime that should naturally be here. Cameron, would you be so kind as to roll your intelligence and occult, please?
While I'm looking around, I'm just gonna look around and be like, just say it out loud, like Nosferatu? Question mark.
All right. One success. This is not a Nosferatu area. It's too easy to access. If someone knew it was there, such as someone like Semon, who it clearly is not a Nosferatu, there's a chance that other long-lived kindred might know.
Alright.
Or if Capone had a secret childer, and while prohibition is not in effect, someone else is using this tunnel, and it smacks of something you've heard before, it's on the tip of your mind, but it's not quite there.
Hey, maybe these tunnels were used for smuggling alcohol back in the day, and maybe they're being used to smuggle things. I can't really remember. They have to be used for smuggling something or transportation, but they were too clean. These tunnels are too clean to be, in disrepair or disused.
Lucio, the last case you were working before your unenviable accident when you were made as you are it did involve the Tor family and them hiring out of town coyotes, smugglers, Mexican smugglers who help undocumented workers move into the area. They were setting them up with false identities and cheap paper that would pass cursory. But unfortunately, cheap labor also makes significantly lower amounts of money, and so they would stay in debt for years. To repay their debts, many families unfortunately were forced into the unenviable task of offering services, buying vacuum cleaners to actually full outright criminal activities when demanded, not to mention the significant amount of vig that was placed on them purchasing their new lives here in America. Places like this, tunnels like this, shipping containers filled with families, church buses and vans that used to disguise movement of people from one city to the next. And you didn't quite follow the trail to its end before you were shanghaied into this world, but there was something called the circulatory system that kept coming up. So, Simon, you're leading everyone through the tunnels. Is there anything that you're doing that would signify you being on edge, or are you at ease? How are you leading everyone through the tunnels? All right. So Julius is just following along. We got you. Simone, would you do me a small favor and roll your wits and streetwise as you're taking point? You're setting the pace, as it were, as you lead your coterie through this most dangerous of situations. Wits and streetwise. And Hester, no, you only have sense the unseen. Does anyone have heightened senses on or activated?
Oh, I'm turning on Eyes of the Beast. I forgot about I had that.
All right, there we go. And is that a passive? I believe it is, isn't it? Do you need a rouse check?
No, it's a level 1. It just makes me see in the dark, and I can intimidate mortals.
All right, sounds like a plan. Simone, that did not come through. You want to type that in the channel? Okay, let's see here. One success. It's not enough to give you much detail, but you know that one of the major ingredients for making good cocaine is, unfortunately, gasoline. And it's not gasoline in terms of the area being soaked down in it. It's literally gasoline being set in these large vats where all of the necessary ingredients are put together and stirred and slowly marinated, as it were. So it fills the area. Usually it's done somewhere with clear and easy ventilation. But if you didn't know any better, and you do, you know no one would be foolish enough to do that, to spend time down here marinating gasoline. But that very much does seem to be the case. And Cam, yeah, was it Cam or Lucio who turned on Eyes of the Beast? I'm sorry.
Cameron.
All right, Cam. So here's the situation: when you turn on Eyes of the Beast, your eyes glow and eerie. You can go with almost any animal shade, including red. What shade of eyes do you actually have? Are they the amber of lions, the gold of wolf, or some state in between this
What
baleful red?
what would snakes have? Yellow?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Welcome back, Julius. Everyone's following along. Semon is doing his best to seem calm, but you can tell that he's warily leading you all along. You can almost imagine yourself traipsing through a jungle with him as your guide. He is pensive, aware, and ready to pounce while keeping you all in a relatively quick-moving line. He's sure of where he's going. Cameron, pierce with your eyes, with your senses, you're able to very much see that the rats, which are purposely staying out of your way, they're not running willy-nilly. They're not freezing as you guys get close. They're purposefully trailing along and moving ahead of you, just a pace of you, keeping up and keeping you guys within sight. They're in the corners and in the rafters and just trailing along quietly. No squeaks, no squelches. Carefully. If you were to say so and anthropomorphize them, you'd say that they're purposefully sneaking along, keeping you guys within sight.
Who am I by?
Simon's in the lead. Hestia just brought up the rear. Julius waited for her, so I'm taking it that he would bring up the absolute rear with you and Lucio in the middle.
I'm gonna kind of turn to Lucio and whisper, "The rats are following us. Pass it along."
I'm sorry, you said the rats are following us?
Shh, keep it down. Keep it down. We don't want to tip them off. But yes, the rats are following us.
Okay, I meant to ask that out of character.
Oh,
but,
yeah. Yeah.
So, who's behind me?
Hestia's the closest behind you.
Alright, I pass the information along. The rats are following us.
I'll be like, well, of their own free will?
That is a very good question.
I'm going to look at the other two and just kind of shake my head and kind of pinch the bridge of my nose. Do you guys know any, I mean, what are Nas's nicknames?
They've got quite a few. Sewer rats, freaks, Nosferatu, Nas, monster usually comes to mind. Sewer rats by far the most popular and easiest. In the common parlance for people that know they exist and know that they may be not far out of mind.
They'll say, "Hey, Simone, do you know where we're going? Or do you know where you're going?"
You get a very terse, very direct yes, and he keeps his eyes forward and ears forward as you all make your way along.
look at them. Do you guys want to make contact, or should we just ignore them, or should we try to scare them away?
Who are you talking to specifically?
I guess I'm turning to the other three behind me: Julius, Lucio, and Hestia.
I'll just whisper. I guess we just ignore it.
Okay, so you guys are gonna ignore the. Okay.
That is a good point.
Hestia. Okay. Those are definitely things that you guys may be able to do. Alright. So. Well, it is a about 25-minute walk from where you guys are at a good clip to get to the end of the tunnel where it would actually light to its exit. Walking cautiously, you're going to add about 5 to 10 minutes. So looking at right about 30 minutes from when the police burst into the speakeasy, trailing behind whoever stole the Maserati. When you exit on Clark and Montrose, you exit into a supply closet at what is now an adult movie theater. Not that they typically exist, but there's one of the few areas where, well, in Uptown where they actually do. As Semon carefully opens the door, it swings freely. There's no creak, there's no whine. It swings freely as if it's a door that is commonly and often used, in good repair, and kept up to date in terms of use and maintenance.
I'll look around and see if any of the rats followed us, or if there's anything out of the ordinary waiting for us.
The rats definitely did follow you all. 2 of them scurry past as the door swings open. The others spread wide and head off into the walls themselves through secret and hidden rat bolt holes into the very wood of the building.
Well, should we vacate the premises?
The door is down. The door actually is downstairs. You have to enter on street level, which is lower than it is by the lake. The supply closet where you are. Not that I think any of you guys have actually been here, but it's actually on the second story. There are 4 theaters on this level and 2 on the main level. Each one fairly well appointed, although fairly well used as well. There are very few nights where the place isn't near capacity, as it is a tourist attraction and an oddity in the modern age of free online porn. And with it not being a place where people go to typically meet up, you have bachelorette parties and bachelor parties who take this as a night out, because on the main floor there's also a bar that's able to serve beer and light alcoholic beverages. So you have daiquiris and things of that nature, but you just can't get a shot and you can't get anything of significant alcohol content. So no Everclear, no 151. But you can get, a whiskey on the rocks or vodka on the rocks because they don't offer shots and domestic beer. Cameron, being as you one of the few of our coterie who has actually made inroads to being accepted into proper Kendrick society, you have a sinking suspicion as to who owns this location. Not that anyone would, because it's so far north, it's in no man's land. But as a member in good standing, as you all are, you know that the right of domain is something that is inviolate under Prince Jackson. It's one of the few things he carried over, one of the three things that he carried over from the practice of Loden and Peterson. Don't screw with the third estate, i.e. the media. Don't screw with the police. And domain is inviolate.
Well, I'm pretty sure we're in someone's domain or even haven right now. They obviously know that we're here, so we should either probably present ourselves, or we should get the hell out, like, fast.
That's not good news.
And not touch anything.
What's generally the out of character? What's generally the ruling on like entering someone's domain? Like you have to ask them for permission first, right, before you enter.
Yep.
Hey,
Which is where the go on.
Is it something that you have to like let the what's the terminology? The prince know?
Entering a different city, yes, but places like Elysium are pretty much open. You can associate in the rec or in public spaces. You just can't hunt there without permission. And as far as entering someone else's domain, it's literally you must let them know before you do so.
Alright. What's the punishment?
Whatever they can get away with,
from
typically.
A sect perspective.
Typically, whatever they can get away with. If they have enough places to hide the body without anyone being any the wiser, more power to them. Or they can enforce things like making you do something for them to repay the disrespect that you paid upon them at this most joyous moment, the day of their daughter's wedding and nuptials and all that good stuff, depending on how politically ensconced they are.
Leave them a post-it note with IOU on it. Hehe.
So it's a kindred name. The person who owns this is Bret Stryker. I think he's a Toreador. I could be mistaken because there's so many of them running around the city. So I don't know what you guys want to do.
Let's just get the hell out of here.
Well, you have to get out. You have to get downstairs and out the building. In the intervening moment, there literally is no way to get downstairs and out the building without passing by a minimum of 3 different security cameras. Unless, of course, you go back through the tunnel and head back to the speakeasy.
That's not an option.
This is where I'm glad that I'm a Vassambra.
Hestia, Lucio, or Julius, Semon, do you guys have any ideas?
I don't think going back is an option right now.
No.
I concur.
Do we risk breaking the masquerade if we go back that way?
Depends on how hard you.
We get locked
well,
up.
there's lots of things that can happen. There's a good chance that you might get locked up, considering you'd be coming up from a beer cooler.
I don't want to get locked up. I like living.
Hestia, do you just take off walking as you say this, or you wait for everyone to realize that hook or crook, you're leaving by the front door?
Yep.
All right.
I
Hestia,
follow in
Semon, put
tow.
the. All right. Everyone's marching. Julius, Cameron, you guys have just grit your teeth and make the run for it, or
Yep. It's either them or
I'm
the
gonna.
boss or the what's it called? Camarilla.
yes, the Camarilla, the ivory tower, the power of the city.
I'm gonna. Can I hide my face? Hey guys, let's hide our faces.
Hmm.
Though I think they probably know who we are because of these fucking rats.
I'll just rip a piece off my shirt or something and then wrap it around my face.
Okay, that is definitely doable.
I'll do the same.
Lucio, have you experimented with your standing and know that you are roughly invisible to cameras? You'd appear as an era of an exposure and not completely identifiable, unless of course someone has already seen you on camera previously.
Okay, so I'm gonna follow and not really make too much of an effort to hide my face.
Oh,
I'll,
I'm
like,
gonna
keep
hide.
my head down.
I'm gonna hide behind Lucio.
Okay.
Oh no.
Like I'm gonna shove my face into his back and just follow, like grab his hips and just follow him.
Alrighty. Sounds like a plan. You all traipse out down the stairs and blend in with the crowd of people moving and coming and going and, having a good night, actually. It's pretty easy. It's pretty low-key, risque. They're playing two classic movies from adult cinemas past, and security is lax. It's designed to keep problem people out, not necessarily keep problem people in. So no one's paying too much of an attention to you all till you step outside.
Oh no.
Everyone knows Alexander Skarsgård, the guy who played the vampire on True Blood, who played Tarzan. He played the abusive husband on Pretty Little Liars or whatever that show was. The tall Skarsgård that was, yes. Imagine him with an additional 20 pounds of lean muscle. Long, curly hair pulled into a delicately braided ponytail. So from dead on, it looks as if it has a very low haircut, but in truth of the matter is, it's just a stylishly braided head of hair, leaning against a '56 Ford Fairlane, baby blue and white. Oh, he definitely is not breathing. And he's waiting. Just waiting.
Do we know who he is?
Cameron does.
I guess I'll go. I'll kind of motion everyone to hang back, and I'll go up to the guy, Mr. Stryker. It's good to see you. I apologize for coming in unannounced.
Well, if you wanted to take in the movie, that definitely could have been arranged. Just curious. Didn't see your car. How did you arrive?
We were lost in the tunnels, and this place. We stepped out, and lo and behold, we were.
Raises a brow and looks past your shoulder at your coterie members. Semon is tall, and tonight, being as he had not come prepared to do battle, his hair is loose and long. It looks like a very well kept natural when he normally has it braided close to his head. Hestia in her voluptuous attire is a few heads shorter than almost everyone else in the party. Julia's tall and well kept, clearly someone who's rough and tumble. And Lucio looking like the prototypical, relatively handsome PI from some TV show on CBS. Um, and then you, yourself, who has been running around in strange circles, who has pushed the issue for someone so young and relatively free to gain access to the rack for feeding. You have come to his notice as a up and comer. Not to mention one of the consiglieres for the Camarilla, Marcel, has spoken about you making his monthly prayer meetings. So you are not unknown. The other members of your party, to him as a harpy, a social keeper of Elysium, is relatively unknown. But this, after all, is a Camarilla city. So everyone here is Camarilla. At least that's the scuttlebutt.
I'll introduce them. These are my friends. This is Mr. Stryker, Bret Stryker.
My pleasure to meet you all.
As he says that, I'm gonna remove my mask and put it into my pocket.
Young Mr. Orm was telling me that this was an accident. You all don't appear to be Nosferatu. Is there a particular reason? You're in my domain without my permission. He says it's an accident. I don't really think that you all have found some secret Nosferatu tunnel, have you?
We presume we were followed by rats.
Rats, plural.
Rats, yeah, I said rats. I must cut out.
Excuse me.
That's alright.
These old ears can't hear as good.
There are no rats in my establishment. I'm sure you're mistaken.
I said tunnels, not establishment.
A bit of a wordsmith, are we? Excellent.
I do my best.
And a mistake, most horrible it was. Especially being as you all, outside of Mr. Orm here, have not even petitioned for the right to feed upon the rack. How are you all making it these days?
Feed upon the what?
The rack.
Right.
The public buffet, as it were.
Ah, right. If you're insinuating that we're using your place as a hunting ground, you're mistaken.
And are you R, F, or DS?
What?
Are you F, R, or DS? He's introduced you all as friends, so I'm taking it that some of you are FR, IE, and DS.
They're all my friends, close associates.
Aha. And dew of the universe, you must tell me your secret.
I don't pry because that information is pretty personal, and I wouldn't feel right asking my friends of that.
No, I completely understand.
But I'm sure they have. I've seen them drink blood bags a lot, like the plastic stuff. Because of plastic.
Please tell me that you are jesting.
You know, sometimes I wish I were. I personally like straight from the vein. But I don't judge. I've learned to accept people who, as they are.
You got a spare bag?
Excuse me. You can't be serious.
Feel free to ask them. I personally don't know.
I am definitely hoping you are joking. The only reason why I ask,
I have certain personal moralistic boundaries.
I only ask because if you've made this mistake once, you will most assuredly make this mistake again, especially traipsing around in Nosferatu tunnels. Secret, unknowable, unhidden Nosferatu tunnels. I'm sure that you will accidentally, or have already, many times previously, traipsed across someone else's domain, feeding on their herds or otherwise making yourselves a potential nuisance. I'd like to head this off at the pass, as it were.
Are you accusing us of poaching?
I assure you, we don't go looking around for random tunnels to just trounce about in. We were actually trying to escape the authorities, and as you know, took the risk of not breaching the masquerade in favor of whatever the tunnel would take us.
I'm truly sorry if this seems like an interrogation. I merely wanted to be of some assistance to you all. Especially you, Mr. Orm. You are such a well-spoken of up-and-comer. But if you believe that this mistake won't happen again and that you have not poached purposefully or accidentally on someone else's territory, I will simply ask for my pound of flesh because I would have called. I would have left. I would have spoken to the manager even to inform them of my careless accident. And I am a very nice person.
What are you asking for, Mr. Stryker? Let's speak plainly now.
I thought it was obvious. I asked for a pound of flesh. Because it's worth simply that. It was an accident in good standing. So, because it was an accident in good standing, let's say you all will do me a very, very small, minuscule favor. I'm throwing a party for friends and associates in the upcoming weeks. In fact, 2 from this very night. And it is such a bother with the ban on electronic communications that are not coded or from expendable numbers. We have to do things the old-fashioned way. And I have a stack of invitations that I must simply get out. Would you all do me the favor of taking a stack for each of you and dispensing them to the others?
You want us to be your mailman? And mailwoman?
Well, a simple accident deserves a simple request, doesn't it?
It seems only fair.
Well, how many invitations? And as acting as your messengers, perhaps you could probably attire us so we present the right image on your behalf. Outfit us is, I think, the proper term.
Well, most of you are passably dressed for the evening and for such a simple task. But if you would like to dress better, that can be arranged. He stands up to his height, dusts off some imaginary dust, and straightens his suit coat. It's a bit gauche. It's a shark-skin suit, but it is tailored. His shirt is the most 80s of pinks. and his shoes match his shirt. But he does cut an image.
One concern I have: how do we know that these invitations will reach the designated target?
That is entirely your duties and responsibilities.
Yeah, that's fair,
Well,
but I'm just wondering, like how do we know that it's like a secure thing that we'll be delivering these things? I mean, do we know that we know the destination? Like, it's
of course, the addresses are already on the invitations, and he turns his back, reaches into the back seat of the Fairlane, and picks up a box, clearly marked FedEx Kinkos. And hands them to each of you. And yes, it is a shark skin suit. Not the actual shark and not the actual skin, but it's called a shark skin suit because of its ability to catch and play with the light. Yes.
So, when we do this, I'm assuming that we're all also invited to your party.
Of course. I would not dream of having anyone be so rudely or casually tossed off as to not invite them to my party.
Well, I heard your parties are pretty exclusive.
They are. But one favor deserves another, and if you would do me this lovely, simple, direct favor, I'll return it, and the tables will be fair. You all will receive my personal invite to my next gathering. And we shall sweeten the pot, Mr. Orm, being as you requested to be outfitted properly. You'll each jot down your measurements, and I'll have something delivered to you.
May I make a request?
Of course, you can make any request you like.
Can you invite someone for me?
If they are someone, I'm sure they already have been. Who is this person?
Ignacio.
Whom?
Is that his name? Ignacio?
Agnoscio? Agnoscio
Yeah,
Torre?
yeah.
As you say Ignacio Torre, he raises a brow. I'm taking it this person is not one of us. I know everyone who is anyone of notice amongst us.
Oh, I wasn't aware. Is it kindred only?
It is. So anyone worthy of an invitation, including yourselves, have been invited to my gathering. Would you be so kind? And he pushes the box forward a little bit more.
Disregard what I said.
If you would like to bring an aperitif that we all can share, I'm sure something can be arranged.
What do you guys think?
Well, I don't want to speak for the rest of my my friends, so I'm going to look at the others like Hestia and Semon and Lucio and kind of wait.
Maybe we could even rope Hugo into it.
Raul is definitely coming and doing this.
Taking a look at Hestia's eyes, he meets her eye. You will guarantee to make many of the young ladies gathered jealous. Gentlemen, your sizes, please.
I'll write it down and I'll give him like an address that not like my haven or the soup kitchen address, but like an address that I would have some access to.
Okay.
I'll do something similar, but I'll give him I'll give him like my personal address, I guess.
Okay. Semon, Hestia, Julius, the addresses that you guys provide. Do you provide the shelter? Do you provide a city address or somewhere else?
Is this for a suit, is it?
Yes.
Um, so Cameron, can I pick up my order? Same location as you?
Of course.
Excellent. I'll write it down on some paper and hand it to him.
Perhaps
But hand it
you,
Cameron first so he can write the address.
perhaps that's the best thing to do. Make it easier for Mr. Stryker here.
Fair point.
That is a lovely thought. Simple is always best. But of course, and just so that we are aware, you all are sure you saw rats in my establishment.
Not your establishment per se, but if you go have a look in the closet, you will find there is an entrance to a tunnel.
You're not saying that I would ever be in a closet, are you?
No, that was not my intention.
I'm joking. I've heard all such things before. And it's no mind whatsoever. However, it is troubling that there may be rats on my premises, and we will have to make sure that that is not the case. Lady, gentlemen, I do have things to attend to. Thank you for setting off my silent alarm. But otherwise, enjoy your evening. I must be off. It is, oh my goodness, it is already 2:30. Does anyone need a ride somewhere?
I think we're fine.
Excellent.
What's the time again?
Good
Sorry?
luck.
I'm
2:30
speaking out of
a.m.
character. 2:30 a.m. Okay.
2:30 a.m. So roughly 3.5 hours to sunrise. And he drives off, leaving you all standing with a box and having given your measurements for outfits. Now here's the question. You have a box of invitations. Judging by the size, and does anyone actually look in at what the invitations say?
I'd like to. I think I asked before you gave us the box.
I say we take it back to the
Actually-
Haven and sort through all these invitations and find the best route for all of us to take with these letters so it's more efficient.
Hesha accepted the box from him and is holding it predominantly right now. But yes, taking a quick look as you guys make your way. Yes, very much so. There's even an address not too far from your actual haven that seems suspiciously out of favor with someone who is noted as the Malkavian Primogen. Suspiciously so. It is so far north as to actually be considered another suburb.
Well,
Roughly how many letters are there? How many invitations?
120.
Ah. I'm thinking like I don't know what I was thinking.
I was hoping for 30 or 20.
Nothing is ever simple. No matter how many times, and especially if someone says it's simple.
We didn't ask him that, did we?
No, he insisted that it was simple.
Do we
He
have
didn't
a
say
few
it was
nights to do
easy.
this, or do we have to do this tonight?
No, you have a couple of nights.
Ah.
Well, I like Your idea, Julius, that we go back to our shared haven and kind of sort through these invitations, and maybe we can classify, group them up by location, but then also danger, because I, for one, don't want to be delivering anything to the Malkavian Primogen. Maybe we can do that through proxy.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're trying to set up one of the coteries, such as Rahul, to do that for you.
Oh, no, I was gonna charm someone to do it.
And yes, it very much was a slap across the cheek and a warning to mind your manners, respect the traditions. This is, after all, the shining example of the Ivory Tower's most gleaming golden city. Everyone thinks that that's a mark of respect or a feather in Prince Jackson's cap. In fact, what it is puts all eyes on everyone. While it's not as while the city itself is not as overrun with cameras as London or most other cosmopolitan European cities, it is also one of the most highly monitored cities in the world. The Chicago Police Department actually have programs that are able to search the entirety of social medias for certain buzzwords and various known vernacular for illegal activities. They have cameras, depending on your area of the city, roughly every block. From the speed cameras, which people didn't realize we were actually going up and were able to monitor the area without actually flashing their lights, to the actual neighborhood cameras, which can view up to a mile away from its location, and they have them every other block or so. There are several other layers of scrutiny and security that the police keep present. And most don't realize that even with the prince's edict that the third estate, i.e. media and the police, are off limits and out of bounds, that they are wholly within his control. At least as far as everyone can tell. They're wholly within his control. They're part of his domain. They are part of his portfolio of control. But as you all make your way back to your haven, and you greet Amalia and the manager, and make your way into the secure access portions of the shelter, which most people don't realize is actually there, one thing becomes completely and totally apparent. He wasn't lying about the rats. There shouldn't have been rats in his domain. Which means he wasn't the one controlling them. So as it stands, as you all cipher through the invitations and parse out how you guys going to go about getting these delivered and ensure that they are in fact delivered, laying things out plainly for each other and the coterie as a whole, you have the attention, based on what Hestia shared with you, of certain kindred somewhere in the city. You have the attention now, clearly, of Mr. Bret Stryker, the lead harpy and second only to the Primogen of the Toreador's attention. You have the attention of the police, and not just the police, the Office of Professional Standards. And something that occurred to our detectives in the group, or would occur to our detectives in our group as everyone settles down and speaks on how to accomplish getting these invitations delivered and how well monitored the city is. That Dunkin' Donuts on Clark and Belmont. is the brightest, clearest location in that entire area of the city. It's lit up like a noonday sun in comparison to everything in that area. Clear, clean lines of sight, bulletproof glass protecting the workers, as well as cameras every 10 feet, covering almost the entirety of the ceiling in that location, not to mention entrances and exits. Yet the head of the Internal Affairs Department met with someone who is at least an associate of a criminal enterprise in the most well lit area in the entire neighborhood, the most easily recorded area in the entirety of the neighborhood. And your haven has come to the attention of someone who is illegally and tertiarily, completely and totally without regards of any other being except for themselves. But otherwise, you guys are in a good position. You just got to drop off a couple invitations.
Woohoo!
Yeah, we're gonna pair new threads.
Yes, those are our threads. That's where we are in regards to the coterie as it is right now and what lays ahead of you. How you guys tackle that and what you guys are going to choose to do over the next few days or next few weeks to protect what is yours, because you are and have done what has heretofore been unthinkable. A coterie of unknown, low rank childer, or at best neonates, having a domain, a haven, and an area to call their own, managing to stay free and clear of all the political infighting and wars that are fought in Elysium and throughout the city.
Yeah, that's not going to stay that way for long, is it?
Very, very doubtful.
Yeah, we're gonna get a bigger domain, another haven, more power.
Oh. And there is another crux. Hestia mentions what the details of the OIK. It's a small tattoo that she saw on the people at the shooting gallery, and the person that she thinks it may apply to. The gentleman who was horribly scarred and disfigured, one single blue eye.
So Lucio's the other detective, correct?
Yes.
So I'll let him. Well, Lucio, you can take it away. Fill in the details about what nobody was describing that we would know.
About what specifically?
No, I've forgotten. Never mind.
Well, that's
Oh, it
the
was,
information you guys have.
it was regarding the Dunkin' Donuts. How it's like bulletproof and all that nonsense.
So basically, everything that our storyteller just said.
Ah, yeah.
Yes.
Fair call.
And that is a very fair question, Semon. Very fair statement. There's no graffiti about OIK. There's no. Just something that the homeless have mentioned. OIK. It sounds like a gang. It sounds like an initiation, but it's not. There's no graffiti. There's no scuttlebutt about it. OIK. And Hestia, your phone rings. Hey, baby girl. Heard you guys in trouble. You want to meet? Well, way I hear it, you guys are friends and associates, and you just tangled with one of the old princes of the city's domain. They're up in arms. There's some information circulating that'll probably hit the fans in the next night or two. There's pictures. People that try to bust up an undercover operation up near Wrigleyville. There's a video of broken windows. They're playing it off as a gang fight, but there's a persons of interest bolo going wide tomorrow. Tomorrow for us, today for them. Just want to make sure you're okay. Okay, sounds like a plan. I'll meet you there. Come by yourself. And he hangs up. Heshia's really good at keeping her face mostly blank. Her eyes brighten, a smile tease at the corner of her lips, and she softly says, "Yep, 5 minutes. You know where." And that's where we'll leave it for this evening.
Cool.
And
Do we get any XP for last game in this game?
yes, XP will be handed out on our fourth midpoint of our chronicle to show what's taking place and give you guys some time to figure out where you want to go with your characters, because we're going to do it a little differently. Each of you will receive your XP individually, and you all, as a coterie, will receive a pool that you all can divvy up as you see fit. Okay?
Cool.
All right. Any other questions for this evening before we get out of here?
Nope, I think that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
That was awesome. I really enjoyed that.
Glad to have you
I
guys.
had a lot
Glad
of
you
fun.
enjoyed it.
Sorry?
Glad you guys enjoyed it. Glad to have you. Glad that we're moving through a twisted version of Chicago. And same time next week. Give me a quick second. If you want, I can give you the title of next week's episode. Just kind of, where did I put that? I am almost a definition of an absent-minded professor in terms of having just jotting things down and just sticking them elsewhere. Bagels and biscuits. Yeah, not likely, sir. Thank you so very much. Credit karma. Does anybody else get so much from credit karma? Alright, there we go. Come on, open up. Grapes of rats? No, sir. It's taking forever to open up, sorry. I have a different,
Should I stop the stream now?
Yes, sir.